Let's get it. Of course, you're saying the overreaction Mondays. You are going to get that tomorrow night. I promise you, 8:30 p.m. But me and Nino, we just had to go live for the special game that we have on a Sunday night. I know next week everybody's going to be happy for football on Sunday night. But we're college football people, man. I'm going to tell you that right here, right now, through and through. And all the NFL guys go, start watching their games next week. This is a great week, but it's bittersweet at the same time. One, everybody gets to see college football at the forefront. I don't know how you can see what we seen this week and then jump ship next week. I just don't get it. Me and Nino are trying to hear it. Nino, we got a game tonight.
Yeah.
We have a game.
We do.
We have one hell of a game. But welcome to the Florida State and LSU preview with me, the mayor of college football, and me, I'm the governor of college football, hashtag go CFB, CFB Nation, your only college football destination. Nino, we not going to waste the good people, these good college football fans. We ain't going to waste no more of their time. What are your thoughts on this Maason Smith situation? And, Nino, I want you to go crazy like you always do.
The NCAA is grasping at a chance to get, control again. And what they're doing to Maason Smith, what they did to Tez Walker and UNC is absolutely a week-old, stinky summer garbage, okay? Like, come on, man. This kid, NIL is okay, and you're going to hit him, you're going to slap him on the hand for a game against FSU because he did an autograph signing a year ago? Are you kidding me? Like, really? Come on, man. How you going to say that NIL is okay, these kids can make money, but maybe a month before it all signed? Oh, no. You have to you couldn't fine him, right? You couldn't have gave him some kind of other disciplinary action. You had to take him out the first week right off rip, right? Biggest game to start the season. Trash, man. These guys are just literally picking straws, trying to hold on to something. They know they got nothing. They know that they've turned over, not on purpose, but they've given control to the players and kind of the boosters clubs because money talks right now, and that's all that matters.
Do you feel as if the people who run this sport that we love so damn much, do you feel like they're college football fans at its core, or do you feel like they look at this as a money-making opportunity? They want to control every aspect of this game as possible.
I said this to you maybe, a month ago when all this crap was going on, when we started talking about no country for old men and how I think some of these older coaches don't have longevity, right?
Right.
And I said to you that the people who pull the strings in college football are past their prime. Like, these guys, they don't have the love for the game. They don't care. It's dollar signs. These guys and universities a number to them. These players are just a number. What can they bring in? What can they draw? And it's apparent just the way they let things happen. It's the end of a generation. They were given this by the people in front of them. They didn't earn it, so they don't really care. You know what I mean? So that's something they were in it. They were around it, but they weren't in it. So a lot of these guys, and you could see it in the Pac-12 when they're commissioners. Both of those guys last two commissioners Pac-12 had no college football experience. None. And what happened? Media deals fell flat in their face, and now we see the end of the Pac-12.
Yeah, we got the Tupac right now.
Yeah, and it's me against the world, though, pretty much. And some people are saying, we don't want you. You can go to the Midwest. What is it?
Mountain West.
Mountain West. That's it. Mountain West. You can go there, and if they don't want you, you can leave leftovers, go and kick rocks, pretty much. Go independent.
I have no clue what either of those teams are going to do, but I agree with you 100%. We need to get some younger people to run this thing, people who really care about this sport, people who want to see this sport grow.
They're not ready.
They're not. Yo, this sport.
Look at Dion.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Look what just happened, right?
He's doing it his way.
They're trying to drag it through the mud, right? He did it his way. They laughed at him. You can't win like that. But he came in. That team played. To me, it's not Shador Sanders or Travis Hunter. It's the people in the trenches and how they didn't really make mistakes, man.
Right.
You talk about 70 people changing through the portal, and you got them like, hurry up offense. They're moving these lines aren't making mistakes, critical mistakes when they need it. That was the biggest thing to me. Everybody was gelling. All these new pieces together, that doesn't usually happen week one, especially against a team that was just in the natty.
Right. But
they ain't ready for that.
Of course.
He's talking his talk, and they're pissed.
Right. Oh, people are angry. People are very angry, and we definitely going to talk about that on Overreaction Monday tomorrow. But let's get back to this game. This is a marquee matchup between two teams who not only have college football playoff aspirations, but also have aspirations of winning the whole damn thing. Two teams that finish in the top 15 offensively in success rate. That's a stat that I love. Two teams that are in the top 15 of players with PFF grades of 70 or more. Florida State is number one. They have 20 players who had PFF grades of 70 or more last season. Two teams with great return of production, and one of these teams will have an enormous resume-building win after this game. Nino, we know the significance of this game. What is something you want to see from both teams early on?
Before I dive into that, they made a lot of moves. Both of these teams made a lot of moves
They
right
did.
to the portal, and they're ready. And we need to. The coaches are huge to me, right? Because Norvell and Kelly come into his second year. Can they make a step? A lot of different moving pieces. Florida State. I know that there's wide receivers out there, right? You got Coleman, you got Johnny Wilson. I want to see how they attack the ground. I want to see how a healthy Trey Benson affects this offense, how it can spread Jordan Travis more so he can use his legs. Last year we saw him grow in his arm, right? He sat in the pocket, only ran when he needed to, and he started dicing people up, throwing the ball deep, right? Going through progressions. We've seen the emergence of Johnny Wilson. I'm not fully bought in on Johnny Wilson. I love the fact that he's a huge alpha wide receiver, but I do believe he has some route running issues and a little bit of butterfingers in big games. But now that he may draw one-on-one because you got a dog out in Keon Coleman from Michigan State.
Exactly.
And Jaheim Bell come work in the middle, it might be a different story. But I think the ground game, the dogs up front on their offensive line, I want to see. And listen, these guys love, the offensive linemen love run block. They get to attack. They're not sitting back getting attacked. So they're going to want to go early and establish dominance. And a healthy Trey Benson was put on, what, like 12, 15 pounds in this offseason from last year to this year. He looks jacked up, juiced, and ready to go. I think he's going to be electric.
I got Trevor Sycamore, friends of the family, has him as his number one rated back going into the 2024 draft. You can continue, Nino.
We spoke about that in the green room. A couple of us were kind of like, whatever, and I took the logical route in it, saying, if the hype is real, there's a good chance he could be in the conversation for top 3. I'm not saying he could be a 1. I'm just saying if he lives up to the hype with all the talent on his team, with him, being able to hit gaps and that line just making holes and his patience and then his speed coming out the hole, if all those dominoes fall, there's a very good chance Trey Benson could be a top 3 running back in this game. Now, for LSU, I want to see the DBs. Okay,
Ooh.
I mentioned the wide receivers on Florida State. They're big, right? Both of them over 6 foot. Johnny Wilson's lurch, 6'6". What can I do for you, Jordan? You know what I'm saying? Like,
And I'm going to cut Nino off there for a second. You guys should see some of the write-ups that Nino does on quarterbacks. I think he grades that position better than anybody, and that's no biases. Trust me, you need to see some of these write-ups that he does on these cornerbacks because I know the amount of detail and attention and time goes into watching those. You can continue, Nino. My apologies.
I appreciate you. I just try to give my knowledge I see to the people out there. But these DBs, you got Deuce Chestnut, who's a dog. You got Major Burns, who's a dog. They're going to be tested. They're going to be tested early. I need to see if that physicality that they have at the line of scrimmage doesn't beat them, right? With these bigger receivers, if they try to get physical and bump and run off the start, if they get thrown to the side, or if Wilson and Keon Coleman don't get separation early, what does Jordan Travis do to create time and space? Do they stick to a run game and then go to a play action, or do they let Jordan Travis move in the pocket, roll out, and set up things where they can get guys who can roll out and create separation downfield, right? Nobody's expecting Major Burns and Deuce Chestnut to cover these guys for 5-6 seconds because it's hard for any DB to do that. But I'm talking 2-3 seconds off the line where it's jammed, where you're making 1 or 2 moves, you're trying to do a post route, you come back to make a curl on an adjustment. I want to see these DBs if they can hang, if they can be, carabiners and hooked onto these guys' shorts the whole time. This is what I need to see. I also need to see if they get burnt. Can they recover, right? Is their back pedal a T-step? Are they a bicycle? How do they come out of it? Those are going to be major things to me. And then it's going to be no Maason Smith, but there's a freak. And I think he's going to eat, and he's going to be he's got a good chance to be top 3 pick in the 2025 draft and Harold Perkins Jr. This guy is
A dog.
dog. I wouldn't be surprised if he came out with a big dog collar on barking at people because he's just got that demeanor, that swag. You can't stop him. It takes more than one, and even when there's more than one, he's moving guys around. I think If he can get in Jordan Travis' head early, nobody wants to get hit by Perkins. Nobody. If he blows up Travis on a blind side, it comes straight up the gut and gets him. I think Travis might be a little hesitant and sitting in the pocket as long as he has. And then going back to my point, how is he going to be on the move? How are these receivers going to adjust when Travis has to roll out and you have to come off your routes? That's something I really want to see.
So, a couple of things. Shout out to the people in the chat. I seen my guy Jamonte. Fallen hasn't missed a stream in I don't know how long. Shout out to my guy Fallen. UCF look good, Fallen. I'm trying to tell you, your boys look good. Also, shout out to my dude.
Hey. Jody Castellanos, former UCF, BC. He was out there playing like Madden.
Hey, you told me about that play and the thrill that you built up for that play. Seeing the highlight was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Shout out to my guy Jamonte. Shout out to Moon. I see Moon is in the chat. My brother Lever Weeze is in the chat. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat showing love. If this is your first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is Overreaction Mondays. We're just doing a live variation on Sunday. We will be live tomorrow, of course, on the T2T network. Nino, let's get into our next question. I know you are monitoring these matchups closely. You talked about matchups a little bit. Also, by the way, I've met a lot of players in doing this. Jordan Travis, I see a lot of quarterbacks, they come in, they instantly want to show you that they're a leader, that they have command of the room. They're a little twitchy a little bit. He is the coolest and most collected guy I've ever met that plays this sport. Like, he was calm the entire time during the interview. Me and Moon got to chop it up with him afterwards. You're like, bro, how much do you... This stuff ever gets old? He was like, no. He's like, I love it. He explained how much he loved it, but he's cool, calm, and collected, and that's what I want to see in a quarterback. When it's 4th and 2 in the fourth quarter, if you can't make this play, the game is over with. He might be the new Joe Cool of college football. But tell me some of the matchups you're closely monitoring for this matchup. 17 minutes until kickoff.
All right, I want to see Florida State's Fentrell Cypress the second. He came in, he transferred over. I want to see him lined up against Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is a dude. He stepped into that role in Butte last year, kind of like faded away, and he never let go of it. Neighbors just kept advancing each and every game, and he became Daniels' go-to guy. I want to see that matchup. I think that could be one of those popcorn matchups because Cypress is a dog, right? Mm-hmm. And now coming over to a new program, I just want to see what he does. Obviously, another thing that I want to see, Florida State brought over UTEP transfer on the line, Jeremiah Byers. He's 330-plus pounds, right? I want to see how he does when you got guys like Perkins and Omar Speets, the linebacker from Oklahoma State who came over, who had a great year last year, right? Mm-hmm. Oregon State, I'm sorry. I want to see if he can continue. He was close to 100 tackles last year. Listen, LSU always seems to find a linebacker that goes off for 100 tackles, right? Could Omar Speets be that guy? Can he attack Byers, the new guy on this line, who may not be comfortable with this system, and just wreak havoc, in that backfield? Another matchup that I want to see is this running back. I need to see the running back for LSU. John Emery Jr., again, suspended with academic issues 2 consecutive seasons in a row. They're going to put in Josh Williams, who wasn't, nothing shabby last year. 93 attempts, almost 550 yards. He had 5.5 yards per carry and 6 touchdowns, but he did have 21 receptions. So I want to see if Josh Williams for LSU can get outside the edge and give guys like Fabian Lovett and Jared Verse a little bit of trouble, or Brandon Fisk, and get out there and grooving and get some positive yards to extend. The other thing I want to see is Akeem Dent. Nobody's talking about Akeem Dent on this team, okay, in Florida State. Everybody's talking about Cypress. Everybody's talking about Verse and Fabian Lovett. But Akeem Dent last year was a guy who was talked about possibly going to the NFL draft, right? For your free safety. Guy goes out there, hits like a truck. He's got hands. Can Dent play against Mason Taylor, the tight end, who came down the stretch for LSU, had a big touchdown in that bowl game? It kind of emerged. I think he's going to be a target, short intermediate routes and plus work in the middle. Can Dent be a handcuff to him and get his hands on the ball? I think if Mason Taylor gets started early, this could be a very, very good thing for LSU.
I love it. I like to hear it. So I believe that in this game, it's going to come down to quite a few things, but intel learned from last season and being able to adjust on the fly is going to play a big deal. What type of intel could LSU utilize from last season that will help them this season in game?
I think they're going to be more aware of Johnny Wilson. Okay, Johnny Wilson ate them up last year, early and often. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to hit that tape. You're going to see it's going to be hard, but I think they're going to try to hide the safety. Let him kind of double up until Coleman establishes himself or Jaheim Bell starts working the middle. But I think they're going to try to double him up and try to cheat to one side. He's 6'6". You know, he's 200-plus pounds. He's a big guy. You can't. It's very difficult for either Burns or Deuce Chestnut to cover this guy one-on-one. So you're going to have to cheat to save you over the top. Can linebackers fall back and kind of chip Coleman or chip Bell off the line of scrimmage to get them off their route and let these DBs get a little bit more time? We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, Speed's going to play a major role. He's pretty decent in coverage. He can get down there quickly. I think his role on this team is going to be very, very impactful, good or bad.
I'm going to go off script for a second here, Nino. We've seen a few coaches discuss the new clock rules. Some people hate it. Of course, Chip Kelly. He definitely hated it. How do you think teams prepared for this switch? Especially in the, of course, in the last 2 minutes in the second quarter, fourth quarter, they do have the old rules that they know so well. But what Chip Kelly say they had 4 possessions in the first half yesterday? How do you feel about that?
So from my experience watching NIU and BC just yesterday up at Chapel Hill, I noticed NIU going up tempo early, starting the second quarter. The teams are going to start going up tempo, no huddle, quick plays because they need to get used to this. There's no more going in the huddle, taking all your time. The clock never stops. If you do that maneuver, you got like 4 seconds off the line of scrimmage to get the ball off. You're going to start to see a lot of delay of game penalties or snapping balls when guys aren't ready or in the right position. Turnovers pop off. I feel you're going to see teams starting to go up tempo towards the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, and the same thing with the third and fourth, just to get themselves prepared and ready. Mid-season, it's all going to be like, second nature to them, but right now it's kind of odd for some teams.
I love it. So the same question I asked you, just reciprocated this time. What type of intel can FSU take from last season and utilize in this game today?
They got to stop the dogs up front in the defensive line. Jordan Travis got pressured, okay? Jordan Travis played well in that game, but there was a lot of pressure in the backfield. He had to move. And I wouldn't say move like having to go sideline to sideline, but he had to move in that pocket quite a bit to get off what he needed to get off. And a lot of times he had to throw balls under duress before he wanted to. And he made some completions, and then there were times where obviously he just couldn't. But I want to see, has he grown? Has he come to the point where he can throw the ball away when there is pressure in his face and nobody is open? Is he comfortable with the dunk and dink to either Bell or Benson or whoever's coming out of the backfield at that time when the play is designed to go downfield and it's not there? They're going to send plenty of defensive guys from LSU up the gut, through the A and B gap, or even off to the side. They're coming. You're going to see safeties in the box. They're going to play the game, the peekaboo game. Put the safety down low from the right side, the free safety down in the box. Then as soon as it's about to be snapped, he'll drop back and the strong safety will fly down. They're going to play games. They're going to try to disguise things. But I need to see if Jordan Travis has taken the next step, as he seemed to towards the later half of last year, where he was calm, cool, and collected. Like you said, like his demeanor, he's seen the last 4 weeks of last season to just be locked in. If they can start off that way, I said, I told you before, this game and the Clemson game for Florida State are pivotal.
Nino, talk to me about your college football playoff, the teams that you have in, and then we'll get into the prediction of this game.
I'm not. My playoff isn't liked by a lot of people. I got, Michigan. I got Texas. I got Clemson. I know you Seminole fans. I'm sorry, DJ Prue. I know you're my boy, but I feel Clemson runs the table in the ACC. And then I got a team that's in this game. Give me the LSU Tigers. And I top it all off, I got LSU versus Texas for the Natty.
Oh, man, we got kicked.
What happened?
We got kicked.
Why?
I'm going to see if they let us go back live.
Really?
Yeah, we're back. All
right.
So, yeah. Nino, tell me your college football playoff teams.
My college football playoff team is Clemson. I'm sorry, DJ Prue. Clemson's running the table. I know Florida State's your guys. Michigan. Texas. I don't care what anybody says about you. They ended up winning the game with 2 or 3 touchdowns. and give me LSU.
Nah.
And then I got LSU, Texas for the
It's
natty.
a spin, and I'm gonna have to read this notice. Um,